Hello everyone, welcome back to another Stitches and Scribbles tutorial. Today we're going to be making crocheted face masks. Now I know by the time that this video goes up we may be done with quarantine, but I wanted to make sure that I made this pattern and tutorial available for those who still need it. So it looks pretty plain from the front. I just have a crocheted shape that starts with increases on one side, goes with no increases or decreases, and then decreases on the other side with a trim. But it actually has a pocket on the inside so that you can add a filter. I've been using coffee filters in mine. I know some people have been using other types of filters, but it's up to you as far as what you do. So this is the one that I've been wearing. I have found that it's more comfortable than a normally made mask, and it doesn't fog up my glasses as much, so that was a win for me. So if you are still on the hunt for a mask, because I know that they're still hard to find right now, then you can follow this tutorial to make your own. Materials for today that you're going to need: I am using a 3mm crochet hook, so a pretty small one because I wanted to make sure that the holes in the mask were pretty minimal. Since it is crochet fabric, you're going to get some holes in it anyways, which is unavoidable, but I used the smallest hook size that I could while not being too small for the tension of the yarn. Today I'm going to be using two different colors of cotton yarn. I'm using the rainbow yarn by Hobbii. It's 100% natural cotton, which I chose for my mask and for the one I'm making today because cotton is a more breathable fabric and it doesn't get as hot. So your face won't get as warm as if you did it with other types of yarn. This yarn is a super fine number 1, again to aid in decreasing the amount of empty space in between stitches and make a tighter fabric. So I'll be using a dark blue today for, well, it's not really a dark blue, a medium blue for the main piece of the mask today, and I have a light blue to do the trim. In my other one I used a teal, pastel teal in the middle and a coral along the edges. This is still from the pack of rainbow yarn that I got in my Hobbii haul, which was my first video posted on YouTube. So if you want to see the entire color collection, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to start by pulling out a little bit of my center pull yarn so that I have some to work with. And as always with crochet, we're going to start with a slip knot. And you're going to chain 12 as your base number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can change the number of chain stitches you start with. It's not really going to affect the pattern. My face mask fits pretty big on my face. I'm going to make one the same size for the person I'm making this one for, but it does hang off the bottom of my chin a little bit. So if you want to adjust the number of chain stitches, it's not really going to affect the pattern. You can make it bigger or smaller. This kind of method of making a face mask is completely customizable and up to you. I'm going to start by doing single crochets all the way across that chain 12 that I just did. And we're going to be using single crochets for the whole mask. So now that we've got our single crochets all the way across, we're going to start our increase rows. So at the beginning of every row, you're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then in the second stitch, you're going to do 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then single crochet as normal all the way across. You can do this for however long you want to suit your face shape. I did about 20 rows of increases on my previous mask, so I'm going to do the same one on this one. So I'm going to single crochet in the first stitch, do 2 single crochet in the second stitch, and then single crochet all the way across. And that's the end of the first row. So then on the second row, we're actually going to do the same thing where we do that increase in the second stitch of the row and then single crochet all the way across. So we're going to single crochet 1, we're going to do 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then single crochet all the way across. I'm just holding it up to my previous one to make sure that it looks about the same, and it does. So you're going to continue doing that for about 20 rows. Let me actually count my previous one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 7. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So yeah, I stopped my increases on the 20th row. So you can go ahead and do that part on your own, and I'll see you for the next section of the mask. Alright, and we're back. I have finished my increase rows. You can see that it pretty closely matches the one that I did before. So now we're going to do a whole bunch of rows of just plain double crochet. I think I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. About 30 rows of just plain single crochet all the way across. That's going to give us the center shape of your mask. This is also a part where you could customize the length. If you have someone you are making it for who has a wider face or a narrower face, you can change the number of single crochet rows. But I'm going to go ahead and just do my single crochet all the way across. And you're going to do that for as many rows as you need. I'm doing about 30. Just all the way across. So I will see you when those single crochet rows are done, since those are pretty easy. Alright, now I'm back. I have finished the main section of the face mask. So for the other side, we're going to kind of do the opposite of what we were doing before with those increases, and instead just have a decrease in the second stitch of every row. So I'm going to do 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together to make a decrease. And then single crochet all the way across the row. And you're going to continue that pattern until you get back down to however many stitches you started with. So I started with 12, you may have started with a different number, so I'm going to continue doing that decrease pattern until my row has 12 stitches so that it matches the beginning. So go ahead and finish those rows on your own, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, as you can see, I finished off my decreases on the other side of the face mask. So now we're going to start doing the border, which is also how we make our ear bands to keep it on. So I've got my light blue yarn that I showed you earlier, and I like to start my edging for these kind of in the middle of the section instead of on the corners, just because since the corners are where the earpieces are attached, I don't want that to be where the yarn is also cut and woven in, because then it won't be as strong of a connection. But we are going to single crochet all the way around with our coordinating color. So I've started with a slip knot and pulled through almost like a chain to make my connecting stitch. And then I'm just going to start single crocheting all the way around. You'll notice that your fabric kind of curls a little bit. I noticed that that flattened out once I used the mask a couple times and it was sitting in my purse. But right now, the original fabric does curl a little bit as you're working, but that's okay. Okay, now that I have done a single crochet in my corner stitch, I'm actually going to do 2 more single crochets in the same stitch to kind of keep that corner shape before continuing along with single crochet around the rest of the piece. So just make sure in every corner you're doing 3 single crochet in the same stitch, and I will see you for row 2 of the edging where we add the ear bands. Alright, once you're finished with the first row of single crochet all the way around, we're actually going to start another one, and this is going to be the row that helps us create the ear bands like you can see on this one. So I'm going to single crochet back to the corner. It's a little easier the second time around once your stitches are already set up. Okay. I've just completed a single crochet in the second of those 3 single crochets we did in the corner in the previous row, and now I'm ready to start my ear band. So for mine, because I sized it for me, I chain stitched 20 chain stitches to make the ear band. You can make yours longer if you want to, you can make it shorter if you want to, but I'm going to chain 20. And then I'm going to go to the middle of the 3 corner single crochets in the next corner and do a single crochet. So now I have an attached ear band, and I can continue doing single crochet in the other ear band on the other side. Okay, we are done with the base of the face mask. All we need to do left is create the pocket. And again, this pocket is so you can put an extra filter in if you want to. If you don't want the pocket on the mask, you could just leave it like this, but it is better protection-wise to add another layer. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to do my pocket in my base color. You could always do it in your coordinating color if you would prefer to do that. I would recommend attaching the pocket to your base in your base color, because then it makes the stitches less visible on the other side. I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I am going to chain 25 because that was the width of my pocket on the other one, but you can always test it against your mask by making it about the width of the section of the mask that doesn't have any increases or decreases. So I'm going to do 25 and then test if that's the right width. So I have 25. That does look about right. So I'm going to start single crochet all the way across. And you're going to continue single crochet every row until it's the height that you want. I like mine to sit kind of about an inch from the bottom and an inch from the top. So I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, about 24 to 26 rows, but of course it depends on the size of your mask. So go ahead and create your panel and then we'll sew it up as the final touch. Alright, and once you have your final pocket piece done, you can cut your yarn end. I left mine really long so I can use that tail to actually sew the pocket on to the face mask. And you can use whatever stitch you like. I'm going to use a mattress stitch to hold everything together, and you're going to sew along the top of the pocket and the bottom, leaving both sides open. I chose to do it this way because if you can see mine that has a coffee filter in it, the coffee filters usually stick out on either end just because of the shape of the mask. So if you want to sew it so that it's just a pocket, that works, but then you'll have to cut or fold the filters when you use them, and I chose not to do that, so mine is open on either end. So go ahead and sew up your pocket, and that'll be our final step. Alright, and there you have it. Once that piece is sewn on, your face mask is done, and you can go ahead and add a filter. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful, whether or not your area is still going through the stay at home order or whatever state you're at when this video comes out. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you for the next tutorial. Bye!